So I'm dreaming of this place. It's Leopold's Book Bar Cafe. It's the dreamiest bookstore, cafe, and cocktail bar combo you'll ever find. And it's right here at 1301 Regent Street. They've got the latest books from around the world, wines to sip or take home, and live jazz, plus open hours until midnight most nights of the week. You can grab a drink or dessert and just kick back at Leopold's.
Today on CityCast Madison. It's the Friday News Roundup. This week I'm joined by CityCast Madison's Bianca Martin. UW is letting a student group do the talking on what's happening with the university's affirmative action policies. And will you be my neighbor? Madison honors activist Jeff Erlinger. It's Friday, September 29th. I'm Dylan Brogan, and here's what Madison's talking about. Good morning, Madison. Hey, this is not a test. This is a weekly review of the news. Time to rocket from Deming Way to Darborough Drive. Is that me, or does that sound like a Robin Williams movie? Because you ain't heard a great Friday roundup like me. Hello, Bianca. Thank you for joining me today.
Of course, any mention of Robin Williams around me will bring me to tears immediately. Because I love him so much.
Okay, well, let's not do that. We need to let's get into the news. So you're up first today. What are you bringing to the table?
Yes, I'll just ignore that rebuff of my emotional personhood over here. Crying is a beautiful thing.
There's no crying on the roundup.
First story today is about the fact that school is back, but for UW-Madison, not necessarily business as usual. Why? Well, the U.S. Supreme Court shot down affirmative action back in June, right? So specifically ruling that race-conscious admissions were unconstitutional. So there have been a ton of folks, including us, right, across the spectrum, eagerly awaiting and watching UW. Like, how are they going to adapt to this?
We talked about this back in June, yeah.
Yes, so it was like, holy smokes. Really big change because obviously affirmative action has been on the books for decades. So there are a lot of practices and, that big shift. And not to mention State Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has decried DEI-related expenditures at UW as a great injustice to the state. So we've got some news, though, this week about the university and their plans. The Black Power Coalition group put out a statement Monday after meeting with the university with updates. And just to note, that's a group of UW students that started back in May after that viral video of the white student making super violent anti-Black comments spread across the campus and the world, unfortunately. But this group got some updates on UW's plans about navigating their new limitations and goals for diversity. So those are that they will continue awarding diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships. They will need to administer race-neutral fee waivers for admissions materials and admissions. So it can't be basically, we're giving you this fee waiver because you are Black or Latino.
They can do it for financial hardship.
Exactly. But they still collect the data, but those things. And also that the university is will need to obtain approval for diversity questions in any admissions materials. So who's doing that approval is unclear. But hey, this is some news, Dylan. Man, we've been wondering what's going on, trying to get the chancellor on for a minute.
Yeah, well, and what all these universities are going to do in the wake of that Supreme Court decision, we asked, and it's basically the UW didn't tell us anything. It seemed like they were figuring it out. But okay, so this was from an article in the Daily Cardinal, and the student group was the one who put out a statement. And there is a UW communications official who basically says, yep, we appreciate them doing this. But isn't it why isn't the university saying this stuff?
Yeah, it feels like mom is the word from them. It does seem kind of interesting that they're like, thank you for your leadership. And we've seen the statement, and yes, that is accurate. I don't know. I mean, there's probably some disincentives for the university speaking really openly about their plans while they're still figuring it out. That's it. Of course, we want to know. So journalism is. We want to know what's happening, and the students want to know. It's a really big change.
Yeah, when we talked to that university, he's retired now, but that political science professor, Howard Sweber, his read on that whole Supreme Court case was, yes, it struck down affirmative action, but it also put these huge loopholes that he thought, universities like UW would be able to, essentially carry on what they were doing before. Maybe they just throw up some extra barriers and have to be less, I guess, overt about it.
Yeah, I imagine, that's what everyone, I don't want to say everyone's looking for loopholes to get around strictures they don't want to follow, but I'm sure they're trying to learn their purview and what's possible. One quote is, they're basically going to do everything that they can to comply with the court's decision and guidance from the federal departments of justice and education. Meanwhile, they still want to promote diversity. That's the stated mission of theirs. I don't envy them right now, because it's not only this happening about their admissions process, but also around DEI programs. Assembly Speaker Voss has chosen to grind his axe on DEI programs, looking to cut and eliminate them as possible, including a state-run scholarship program.
And he's been unsuccessful so far, but now he's holding up wages for UW employees until he gets his way.
Yeah. So that's a lot to navigate. Chancellor Mnuchin, it's her first year. It's just a lot, especially, looking obviously at the grand scheme of everything after George Floyd and the conversations around race. We didn't hear from the university. We heard from the Black Power Coalition. Can I say I'm impressed with them? I'm impressed with them in the sense that they mean business. And at least they've held conversations, I guess, with not only university administrators, but local and state officials, including the Milwaukee mayor and the Representative Sheila Stubbs in Madison. They are trying to build this group. The university has met with the Black Coalition a number of times over the summer.
And they're the ones informing us.
And the good journalists at the Daily Cardinal. So shout out to them, because they've been doing good work already. Keep it up, Badgers. Semester just started. So, hey.
Yeah, a lot going on at the University of Wisconsin, UW-Madison. And we'll keep you updated. But now let's just take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about some more news.
Attorney Z. Usman with Usman Law has helped thousands of folks fight back against abusive debt collectors, and he wants to help you too. His advice? Sit down with a list of all your debts and figure out how long each will take to pay off. You can do this using a debt repayment calculator online, or contact Attorney Usman, who offers this service for free. The average interest rate on credit cards today is 25%. So, for example, if you borrowed $10,000, you're really gonna owe a lot more. If you pay $300 a month, it'll take more than 3 years to be done. And that $10K will have cost you $15 in the end. But there's help. To learn the easiest way to pay things off, visit madtownlawyer.com to schedule a free call with Attorney Usman.
Instacart helps you get beer and wine delivered in as fast as an hour. So, whether you need to fill the cooler for tailgate season or fill your glass for Pinot by the fire season, you can save time by getting fall sips delivered in just a few clicks. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Must be 21 or over for alcohol delivery where available. Instacart. Add life to cart.
Before we wrap up today, we'll end on a very positive note about a Madisonian that brought a lot of inspiration and was just an amazing person. And his name was Jeff Erlinger, and he died in 2007 at the age of 36. Everyone should know his name. They just named an accessible playground at Renenbaum Park after him. So Jeff was active in local politics, including serving on several city committees. And he ran for a seat on the Common Council, and he was instrumental in gaining accessible taxi cab service in Madison. So he used an electric wheelchair from a very young age. And when he was 10 years old, he was a guest on the Mr. Rogers show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's beautiful.
So he went on the show to explain how his wheelchair worked and why he needed it. And this segment ended up being extremely impactful for Fred Rogers and Jeff. Like, Fred Rogers kind of cited this as like one of his favorite moments in his long career. And the segment with Jeff and Mr. Rogers was in the Mr. Rogers documentary, which is excellent and people should check out.
I didn't know that this man was from here and had this legacy here. I mean, that I've seen that in their relationship with Fred Rogers and everything. I'm so glad that you brought this forward.
Yeah, and it's so great that the city honored Jeff by naming this playground after him. The segment between Jeff and Mr. Rogers, what's incredible about it is from all accounts, it just seems like they improvise like a song right there on the spot. So I just thought we'd wrap up the show today by playing a clip from the documentary. And the first voices you'll hear are from Jeff's parents.
He told Jeff before they started that they would have a chat and then sing a song together.
I think he said we might sing a song. Yeah, I remember, because I was sort of surprised. What, he's going to start singing a song? Well, this is totally not even what song.
But it's you I like, the way you are right now, the way down deep inside you. Not the things that I do. Not your fancy chair. That's just beside you. And it is you I like, Jeff.
Thanks.
And there must be times when you do feel blue.
Uh-huh.
I'm not feeling blue right now, though.
Me neither.
I'm so glad that you came today.
Thanks.
I remember asking one of the staff people that was there, well, what do you think? Did it go okay? So, don't. This is good. This is good.
That was Madison activist Jeff Erlinger with Mr. Rogers from a clip from the 1980s. Just nice to see a Madisonian honored in this way. So check out the new accessible playground at Renenbaum Park.
We started this out, Dylan. You said no crying on the roundup, and then you're ending with this. I didn't actually cry, but man.
Well, watch that Mr. Rogers documentary, and
what? I watched that.
You will cry. You will cry. It's.
Oh, you're talking to the you who's listening.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely saw that in theaters. Mr. Rogers for life.
Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you, Dylan.
That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. Bianca Martin is your host. We're produced this week by AKL Momin, Elizabeth Kama, Molly Stentz, and me, Dylan Brogan. Our theme music is by Carl Christensen. You can also get more news delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to Madison Minutes, written by our newsletter editor, Haley Sperling. A quick note, Bianca is moderating a panel discussion as part of the Banned Books Con this Sunday, October 1st from 2 to 3:30 at the Sun Prairie Public Library. That conversation will be all about the principles of intellectual freedom and the growing pressures for censorship in schools and in libraries. See our show notes for details. If you enjoyed today's show, why not share this podcast with your neighbor? See you back here Monday morning with more news from around the city. Until then,